Hi, welcome to the introduction of the CashFlow tool 2017. In this episode I will give you an explanation of each of the sections. First we start with how to find the CashFlow tool. You will find it on the Google Drive, so in AgriProFocus Global, Countries AgriProFocus, then find the folder of your country. In this example I'm using Benin. Then the Finances folder in your country folder, and then Budget Realization. The CashFlow tool has the same name for all countries because they're all connected, and the name is 2017 CashFlow tool all countries, so you can also use the search drive to find it. You click on the file twice and it will open. It's a pretty large file, so it might take a while before it opens. Once it is opened, you will see that it might not fit completely on your screen, depending on your own settings, of course. If you want to adjust it, you can push the control button and the plus or the minus to make the tool a bit smaller or to make it larger. So with the control plus you make it larger again to get a better view. Just which is most convenient for you. As you can see, the tool has been converted into Google Sheets, and in the spreadsheet all the CashFlow tools of all the countries are gathered into one file, so you can see the tabs here below with all the country names. It includes a total overview of all country. This is for monitoring purposes in Arnhem. The authorizations of each of the countries has been set in such a way that you can see the other countries, but you cannot alter any of the data in the tabs of the other countries. For your country, the editing authorization has been set to the country coordinator, the network facilitator, the finance officer in Arnhem, and the AgriProFocus master. I will now go through some of the sections of each of the country's tools. To start, on top, which hasn't changed much from last year, is in cell B1 you will find the name of your country, so check if you're working in the right tab. Then in cell B2 you see the date on which the sheet is updated. So if you work an update in the tool today, then you type there the date of today. In this case the Benin sheet was updated on the 8th of February. Next, in cell B3, it's realized transactions included until. This is the month until which you have entered data in Finovion. So when you're updating the tool with realization until March from Finovion, then you type March here. Then logically also in cell B4 it is the planned transactions, so that is future planning of finances, which you will not find in Finovion yet, but which is planned in this tool and which is the purpose also of this tool. So let's say realization until March, you type March here, and then planning from April and onwards, then you type April here. Next, in columns C, D and E you will find the budget of 2017. In column E, the cash expenditures and income. In column D, the in-kind expenditures and income. And in column C, the total of both. Next, in column G, H, I, J, etc. You find the months of the year that need to be planned and finally realized. Then in column T, the total of the 12 months. And finally in column U, there are some checks, automated checks for you to see if you're on track. So it makes a comparison between the amounts that you have planned or realized the 12 months with the budget. Now, something new that we have added to the tool this year is that we have included the balance sheet in the tool. And this is necessary in order to automatically calculate the advance payment request. It is therefore no longer necessary to fill a separate form for the advance payment request. As of now, you can just update the CashFlow tool and send a message to your network facilitator and the finance officer in Arnhem, indicating the amount and stating that you have updated the CashFlow tool. More about that in a separate film about the advance payment request. But in the lines 5 to 19, you will find the balance. What has not changed in comparison to last year is that there is still this green income section below. I would just like to draw your attention to three things. The contributions, programs and projects, which you find here in line 39. This is only used for those projects and programs which have been contracted with a duration of more than 1 year. If it's a shorter assignment, then you don't use it. Next, the contributions, local partners. Here it concerns all parties which are not Dutch and not a member of AgriProFocus. So IFDC, for instance, is no longer a member of AgriProFocus. If they have a contribution, then it should be booked under AT10 or this section under line 46. Because they are Dutch, yes, but they're not a member of AgriProFocus, so they are considered as a local partner. Next, I would also like to draw your attention to the AgriProFocus contribution to country program. This is what we used to call the matching fund, but it's no longer matching, so we have changed the name. This is the amount that you will receive from Arnhem to cover part of your operational costs. Then last in this income section, I would like to draw your attention to the contributions of Dutch public partners, which is only used for the contributions received from the Dutch Embassy, RVO and any other Dutch public partners. Next to that, in the income section, nothing really has changed in comparison to last year. So now we move to the expenditures. In the expenditures section, everything is pretty much the same as last year. The only difference is that the coordination costs have been split up in two sections. So one block called coordination costs and one block called other administrative and logistical costs. Now, easiest to distinguish, and also the reason why we cut them up in two, is that in this first block you will find all the expenses that have been contracted between AgriProFocus Arnhem and the host organization. So the salaries of the personnel, the overhead costs, and also office and housing, and these amounts should also correspond with the amounts contracted in the hosting contract. Now in the second block, the other administrative and logistical costs, you find all the other overhead type of costs like travel, audit, bank and exchange rate differences. After the expenditures, as last year, you will find the result. So in line 142, here is the result that is expected based on your budget. And then if you go to column H in the same line, you will find the result that is expected for each of the months. And finally in column T you see the result that is expected according to your planning at the end of the year. As you can see in this BENA example, the planning hasn't been done yet, so that's why you see this very low amount. Then next, what is really a new section in the cash flow tool is the financial principles. These you find in line 144 and below. And these financial principles are automatically calculated. They are derived from the financial indicators that were included in the letter that you received from the Director of Programs on the 1st of December in 2016, and which the email was titled Financial Planning Model 2017. These are also the indicators that will be used during the mid-year evaluations. The principles are explained in more detail in a separate episode. As you can see, you can read the meaning of the indicators here, and the outcome of the indicators is only calculated on a year basis. The last section that I would like to introduce is the graphs, as you were used in the tool of last year. There were 2 graphs included. They've changed a little bit, but not much. As you can see, we have 2. One is available funds at the end of the month in euro, and one is the result income versus expenditure on a monthly basis. As the tool hasn't really been filled yet for Bena in this example, they are not very meaningful yet, but they are very useful once you start planning. So we will tell you more about that in the episode which concerns how to plan with the CashFlow tool. So this concludes the introduction of the tool. Before you start planning the 2017 financial year for your country network, please watch the episode, the second one, Planning at the Beginning of the Year.